Welcome back to another episode of Raising the Bar, TKJ Podcast. Today we hear from business owner Rob Thomas, who leads entrepreneurs, innovators to success by helping business owners, insurance and financial professionals solve complex problems. They serve their clients by leveraging out-of-the-box strategies to achieve success at the highest level. Plan your steps and take flight. TKJE, Raising the Bar. Welcome back to another episode of Raising the Bar, TKJ Podcast. Today we hear from Rob Thomas with Water Rock Financial. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's really good to be on here. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, man. I know we see each other at different events, and I'm excited to hear about your business and what you got going on. Now, we'll just jump right into it, man. As far as your business and what you do, kind of give us an idea of what led you to this type of business and really what inspired you to start your business.
Yeah, great question. So I've been in the insurance financial services world for, close to 20 years now. And kind of at various levels, from owning my own agency to working on the corporate side and everything in between. And in 2021, we decided to sell our current agency and dive into starting Water Rock Financial. One of the biggest reasons being in this industry as long as I have, you see the carousel, people who come through this kind of business, right? And when you start looking at some of the root causes of this, you start seeing that right now there's like a 98% failure rate and with new agents coming in. The majority are gone within the first 3 months. It's another like 18 or 20%, something like that, that's gone within 6 months. And really, the bar is so bad that within 2 years, the majority of people are gone, right? And so the only people winning in this are the insurance companies, because they bring new people in, they get you to put your more work together, you sell everybody you know, and then you have nobody to talk to, and you don't know what to do. And they don't teach marketing skills, they don't teach any of that. So agents fail for 2 reasons. Number one, they don't have a clue what to say when they get in front of people. And number 2, they usually don't have enough people to talk to. So we decided we had some pretty unique offerings, some pretty unique ways of going about this. And we felt like we could bridge that gap for agents and really change the industry. And so we set out to do that and close the doors on one chapter, open the door on another, and it has been all in. This is one of those businesses, when you do it like this, you burn the ships, baby, and you move on, and you're all in.
I totally understand. No going back once you start. Now, as far as like what you're doing and really talking to other people in your industry or other individuals that may want to take that same route, what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs who want to turn their passion into a profitable business venture? As you went from one stage to another, how were you able to do that? And what kind of advice do you have for someone that wants to head that direction?
Number one, if you get into whatever it is you think that you want to get into for the sole purpose of money, you're probably going to fail. And the reason why is not every idea is a good idea. Not every idea is a profitable idea, right? So you need to make sure that, like for us, there are 1.5 million insurance agents in the United States. So what the issue was, though, we found the problem. There's a gap between success and failure, and the failure is because of those 2 things. And you talk to agents, you read surveys online, you find that. And so we found what that niche was that we could fix in our known space to create our business. And so if you're an entrepreneur, you may have what you think is the greatest idea since sliced bread, but I would challenge you to say, what problem does your business fix that nobody else is fixing?
Okay. Now give us an idea of the problems that you fix for people when it comes to your business. Is it businesses or is it individuals?
Yeah. So we work with both businesses and individuals, right? Insurance agents. But one of our key things that we started and worked with is we developed some key partnerships. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, partnerships are king. You have to have great partnerships. whether it's through your vendors or whatever it is, unless you are just a lights out inventor of something, find great partnerships. That's what we did. And this partnership actually has some very unique offerings for businesses, like small businesses. And you know, just like I do, that the small business market, those groups that are really under 100, really even under 50, probably the most underserved market out there. Everyone wants the big grand slams, but nobody wants to work with the small ones. And when it comes into, because small businesses don't tend to have sometimes a lot of excess capital, cash strapped, they're trying to figure out how to make ends meet, retain good employees, all of those kinds of things. We came in with an idea that allows employers to do really some key things. Number one, complement any supplemental benefits they already have in place. Retain key employees. Reduce their work comp by up to 25%, their health insurance costs by up to 25%, reducing employee absenteeism, which is a killer for a business, right? When your key employees are gone, they're out sick, it kills you. What if we could reduce that employee absenteeism by 25% or more, and then reduce disability claims? And we did all of that without increasing their spend or asking for more money from their employees. It becomes a win for everybody.
Wow, that's awesome. You mentioned some challenges there. So, when you started your business, how did you overcome initial challenges and setbacks as you progressed with this startup?
I think that when you are a startup, one of the keys to any of it is being a couple of things, being flexible and being teachable, being willing to learn the lessons, right? So just because you have an idea of how it should go doesn't always mean that that's exactly how it's going to go. And so as you hit a wall, you got to be able to take a half step back, understand what the obstacle is, and pivot into that, leverage it to go, okay, because you might have been heading down a pathway of disaster, but because you were able to catch it early, you're able to pivot and keep the momentum moving forward. I always look at it like a running back on a football team, right? That running back hits the line, and what do they teach? Just keep those legs churning and start pivoting. Suddenly, you got to rip off 15, 20 yards all of a sudden. So being an entrepreneur is kind of like being a running back. You're going to get hit hard a lot, but every once in a while, you're going to rip one off.
Absolutely. Now, lessons learned. So, along the lines, I know we are all going to make mistakes, as you mentioned, and you're going to have these so called failures, right? I call them lessons learned. But what are some of the most important lessons that you've learned from your mistakes or the failures that you've had to accept as you move forward?
Number one, keep your main thing the main thing. It's really easy to get, especially for entrepreneurs, because we get what I call the ooh, shiny, shiny syndrome, right? We're heading down a path and things are rough. And all of a sudden we go, oh, this will, and we get the ooh, shiny, shiny. We start chasing something else. Now, if you believe in what you're doing, keep the main thing, and don't get distracted by it, right? The second thing I would say is establish really good processes and systems. The businesses that thrive and survive have great processes and systems. If it's built on personality, if the whole business is built on you, it's probably doomed to fail, because at some point in time,
Wow.
you can't be there. You're going to be out sick. You're going to be something, right? So you got to have that. And when it comes to systems and processes, do not be afraid to hire people early. It's an investment that multiplies your talents.
So with that, with systems and processes, technology is a big thing nowadays, right? So what technology advancements or tools have been instrumental in, streamlining your business systems as you built your organization?
So a little over a year ago, not many of us really understood what AI is. Today, it's becoming so quickly integrated into everything. And we were able to early adopt some AI processes and systems that do everything from phone calling to set appointments for us, to scheduling, to follow up, answering the phone for us. We can have AI do that. And it's pennies on the dollar in comparison. You might invest a little upfront, but long term, you're saving, because now you're not paying a salary for someone. you can now go out and buy the talent to go get more sales, get more marketing, whatever that might be. So we leverage that. That's a key one. The second thing I would say is, and I think most businesses are, especially startups, they're not great at this unless you're a marketing firm. Take some marketing courses, get with people who do online marketing, take a master class, invest in those things so that you can learn, because your ideal client is literally out there, but you've got to know how to go find them and get them into your ecosystem right away.
Now, you mentioned having a team and meeting the right people, and all of that is extremely important. Now, what role does networking and building meaningful relationships play um, in your business as you build this network of people?
Yeah, that's an amazing question, because if you don't network, you will die as a business.
Hmm.
You have to network. If I had to pick up from where I am today and you dropped me into another city and I had limited funds, limited resources, and no business, and I had to start from scratch, I'd find all the networking groups I could get into, and I would start building relationships, because I need to know who's who knows who, how to get introduced to the right people, all of those kinds of things. And networking is not something that is one and done. We go to a lot of networking events, we see each other there, and how many people show up once or twice and then they go, I didn't get anything from it, I'm not going back. No, networking is like farming. There are seasons and cycles. You have to sow and plant and sow and plant. And then after a while, you will start to see some kind of harvest come in from that, right? The second thing with networking that we do, and we try and teach our people, is if you sit back and wait for it to come, it's not going to happen. You need to be the quote unquote aggressor. So instead of waiting for Ken to call me, I'm going to pick up the phone and go, hey, Ken, it was great to see you at the networking event last week. I'd love to know more about your business. You got time for coffee next week where we sit down and just go learn who is your ideal client? So when I'm out meeting people, I know how to refer to you. And that's how I'm going to be the aggressor. Because the moment we go and sit down, what's going to happen? You're going to reciprocate. So tell me about your business as well. And now we're getting to know each other. Oh, I was just talking to someone and they needed this. Can I send them to you? Absolutely. Now business starts.
And I completely agree when it comes to building that clientele or building that customer base. The whole who you know kind of thing really kicks in, and really spreading that network to allow your net to work for you.
Yeah.
So definitely appreciate that. Now, lessons learned. And for our listeners, can you give our listeners one piece of business advice that has stuck with you on your journey before we let you go today?
This one just kind of came up the other day. And I think it's kind of a little, I don't know if esoteric's the right word, but there's really three things, three places. I know what I know, and I know what I don't know, right? Like I know how to sell insurance, I know how to train, but I don't know how to do brain surgery. And if you called me and said, Rob, I really need you to go over and do brain surgery, let's just go ahead and put a nail in the coffin now, because you're toast. It's over. Dude, that's not going to happen. Because I know that, right? And I think it's important for a business owner to know what you know and know what you don't know and be okay with that. The problem that business owners run into is there's this great big world of I don't know what I don't know. And in business of entrepreneurship, in the business of starting a business, you need to constantly be learning, constantly read a book, take the class. On YouTube, I'm not an auto mechanic, right? But I blew a head gasket on a car one time, and I took it to the mechanics, and they wanted me to pay $8,000 to fix a $5,000 car. I was like, no. That ain't happen. So I jumped on YouTube, a couple of hours. I learned for my exact vehicle how to change a head gasket. It took me 2 days, but I learned something, right? And it cost me $300 instead of $8,000, literally. Now, I'm not telling you have to do that, but I say that because YouTube is filled with tutorials and trainings and lessons and the knowledge that you need to succeed. There are thousands of hours of things you can learn. you can, because YouTube is a search engine. That's all it is. It's not a social media, it's a search engine. So you type it in, you find everything you ever wanted to know about X, Y, and Z. So the piece of advice is, you know what you don't know. But that big world of I don't know what I don't know, you need to become a constant learner in your field.
Rob, I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview. You gave us a lot of knowledge there. Now, with what you do, how can our listeners get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Yeah.
Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
So our website is WaterRock FN, as in financial network. So FN.com, WaterRockFN.com. All of our services are there. You can learn about it. If you own a business and need somebody who can come and help you understand better ways to provide, services for your employees, benefits, those kinds of things, then don't cost you any money. That's the key. Small businesses, they go, I want to offer benefits. I can't afford it. Right. We have some really unique solutions that we're excited to bring, including some things that maybe you've never even thought of before. So yeah, reach out to us. We'd love to chat.
I appreciate you. All right. We heard it. Loved all of it. Thank you so much, Rob, for taking the time to do this interview.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's been a great time. Looking forward to seeing what you do next.